Hello everyone, welcome to War Analysis channel. As Ukraine sets its sights on liberating Kherson, Russian proxies try to push people out. As Ukrainians push toward occupied Kherson, the Russian occupiers on October 18 said they would move up to 60,000 Ukrainian civilians to occupied parts of Ukraine or Russia. The occupation authorities called it an evacuation, saying that Ukrainian forces are likely to attack the city. The Russians have already subjected thousands of Ukrainian adults and children throughout the country to forcible deportation and resettlement. It is not clear how many Kherson Oblast residents agreed to go. Social media suggested at least several hundred waited for ferries in the eponymous regional capital on October 19. An anonymous Ukrainian soldier, who was not authorized to talk, told the Kyiv Independent there are signs that Ukraine is preparing another offensive in the region. The Ukrainian armed forces are maintaining strict silence for operational security. Kirill Stremisov, one of the top Russian proxies in Kherson Oblast, said on October 19 that Ukrainian forces might soon start advancing on Kherson and called on locals to flee. Volodymyr Saldo, a Ukrainian politician and Russia collaborator who's been put in charge of the occupied parts of the region, said 60,000 people would be evacuated in 6 days. On various online channels, Russians and collaborators in Kherson claim to have moved all governing institutions to the eastern bank of the Dnipro, Ukraine's largest river. Kherson sits on the western bank. Serhiy Klon, an aide to the Ukrainian regional governor, said the Russians are organizing deportation of doctors and teachers, which he called frightening. The Kremlin said it was introducing martial law to the 4 Ukrainian regions it partly occupies and tried to annex after holding fake referendums there. Most countries rejected Moscow's illegal claim that this land now belongs to Russia, and 143 voted to condemn it. In the occupied areas that Russia now considers under martial law, people are not allowed to enter or leave at their own will. Russian media posted a brief video of a row of people standing waiting for ferries that would take them across the river, where enough buses to accommodate 1,000 people supposedly stood waiting. Occupation authorities have even printed off pamphlets for locals about the move. These pamphlets recommend relocation to other parts of the Russian Federation. But before we get into it, I'd really appreciate if you left a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Anyways, let's go. In this video, I will focus on the Luhansk region and, in particular, on the northern part of the region. As the Ukrainians are successfully developing their offensive operation and gradually undermining Russian positions around Tavolzhanka, they have finally cut off the first Russian group in this region from supplies. The situation was so critical that the Russians were forced to shift from the defense mode to offense to prevent the front line from collapsing. And here is how it happened. Last time I told you that the Ukrainians had established partial control over Vilshana and had already breached some parts of the secondary defense line around Pershatrovnev. Even though the Russians here have a lot of opportunities to use the local geography and establish multiple defense lines, their overall position here has already been undermined. By controlling this segment of the ravine between Vilshana and Pershatrovnev, the Ukrainians could already develop their offensive towards Tokarivka. And the Russians here neither have an opportunity to cooperate nor strong positions on the way to Tokarivka. The Ukrainians are already constantly storming Vilshana and Pershatrovnev, which necessarily fixes the positions of Russian forces. On top of that, while the Russians in Vilshana and Pershatrovnev are busy, the Ukrainians can leverage the geography and move towards Tokarivka in the same way they moved towards Orlyanka. As you can see, Russian positions along the Oskil River can be supplied via 2 roads, one that goes through Terny, and one that goes through Mykolivka. The road that goes through Terny is much safer because it supplies the front from behind, while the road that goes through Mykolivka is much more dangerous because it goes along the front line. The Ukrainians have already cut off Vishana from this safe supply road. The situation is very critical, and if the Russians do not solve the problem of supplying food and ammunition to that front, then it will collapse in a matter of days. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video.